quite a few different items that we can prepare for bug out bags and things like that. Initially, when I was told I was speaking here, I was told that I was teaching stuff about bug out bags and all the stuff to bring and everything else. So some of that is not going to have anything to do with water purification. In fact, most of it won't. A lot of the water purification items won't take up a lot of room in any bug out bag. Purified water, what's qualified as purified water, has up to 7 milligrams of impurities per gallon. And Jacksonville City water is actually at 26 milligrams of impurities per gallon of water. So if you drink the city water, good luck. My cat actually got a bladder stone from drinking city water. Ever since then, and after that expensive surgery to remove that, he has been on pure water and has had no problem ever since. So when you're in a bug out situation though, or in a camping situation, extended trip, whatever you want to call it, a couple of things to look at is inline filters. These are carbon, but you also can have porcelain filters. Some people are very partial to the porcelain versus the carbon. They say they're a little easier to clean, but they're also a lot more fragile. If you drop them, they will shatter, rendering them pretty darn ineffective. So, of course you can boil it, but you're going to waste a lot of fuel, energy, and resources heating that to a rolling boil for 2 minutes to kill anything that's in it. Then you've got to wait for it to cool down before you can drink. And if you are on the go or on the move or need to be on the move very quickly, it's a pretty ineffective way of your use, time, and resources to get that going. So we have the chemical tablets. They take a little bit of time to dissolve, so that would be something if you prepared ahead of time and had more than one hydration bladder or water container with you of any sort, whether it be a canteen or one of these guys, or again the hydration bladders that I have over in the packs. What I like better is actually the chemical drops. Yeah, in fact, there's one of the hydration bladders there. It actually, I'm going to touch on that a little bit more later, but the hydration bladder itself, the hydration bladder itself can be removed from all the packs, any of them, for the bags that we have them in there. And we have this little guy here that has the molly strapping that can attach to another bag that doesn't have a hydration bladder already in it. So you actually get more storage, another hydration bladder in there as well. But the chemicals that you can put in there with the liquids, a lot easier to control how much you're putting in. With the tablets, a lot of people forget that it's supposed to purify a certain amount of water. If you run into a smaller water resource and you're using a whole tablet, if you don't have a pill cutter with you, which I strongly encourage you put one in your bag, because you're also going to need prescription medications and things like this. If you notice, it's going to be a longer run before you can get to civilization or to another resource that you can get your prescription medications. You'd want to start cutting back on some of the medications, at least to extend it, or to make these last longer. These are great water filtration systems for emergency one-person pretty much situation, but the ones that I do typically recommend are these guys here, the inline carbon, along with one of the liquid ones, because the liquid will kill all the viruses and bacteria and things like this that are in the water, but they don't remove all the junk out of the water. If you're in a populated area, you've got to worry about viruses and bacteria a lot more than you do if you're in a wilderness situation or out on a trail, because most of the times the stuff that's in the water won't transition over to a person very much, other than maybe upsetting your stomach a little bit. But with both, you're killing everything in it with the chemicals, and then you're filtering out all of the junk, the dirt, the little bit of stuff, unless it's like the Swanee River when it's actually kind of dyed the water more like a tea. We do carry other ideas of filtration, the actual canister that has the filtration in it that you just suck right through and it goes through the carbon filter. Again, I would highly recommend using the chemicals on this as well, just a couple, drop or so. And they've got the SteriPen. These are actually very popular. Fairly, there's $50 for it, but there's no heating involved, no chemicals involved. It's a UV light that goes in and actually kills everything. It turns, when you put it in and you turn it on, it turns itself off when it's done. So it knows, it's a very good high-tech piece of equipment for what it does. Again, in my bag, what I personally would carry is the chemical drops and then the carbon inline filter, because that's a lot more versatile with what you can do. On standard water bottles, water bladders, and the hydration packs themselves, you can use this same one on all of them. So it's not going to matter if you carry a couple of extra hydration bladders and find a location to where you can fill up a little bit of water. Just untwist, hook it back on, and you're good, and you're still filtering your water all the way through. A couple other things that we could touch on real quick that most people wouldn't consider in their bag. If you are, some of us start out when we're doing our bags and stuff like this. My bag is not complete, and I've been at it for about 2 months on and off. It takes a good while to actually get a good bag together. It's not going to be a weekend trip. I mean, most guys can't put everything together, and you think about ahead of time what you're going to need. But the emergency bags, the bivy bags that a lot of guys were wanting to see and talk about, we do carry them. They're actually really nice to have in your bag just in case. And something most people don't think about is a little solar charger, because if you're out in the woods, you're not going to be around an electrical outlet to plug in your regular charger. It would need to be stationary, at least clipped onto your pack somehow to where it's getting direct sunlight. But at least it could do anything like a cellular phone or an iPod or something like that. That'll keep you sane if you're walking around for a while, if you have to go for a couple of days. Other things that first aid, obviously we're going to touch on more with Jose, but stingies, because everybody knows stuff's out there stinging you and biting you. I personally like the big first aid kits like this for a quick, small thing to get together. Jose is going to go a lot more in depth about his bag and what he's got in that. Other things, this is a little big for me for my bag. I just don't particularly care to go that big. With the resources, yes, but this bag on the outside. With the MOLLE strapping on the bags here, in regular plug-out type situations, you can attach this MOLLE strapping here, so you're actually keeping your first aid information, here, available and ready. And if for some reason you're with another person and you get hurt, they know where your stuff is. So they don't have to dig through your bag, dump everything out, and find the one little box of first aid down in the bottom of it. Let's see this. I mean, over here we've got other fire starting utensils. Most of this stuff's actually covered online. I went online and looked at the documents and stuff like that the Robinsons have put out, and very good, very clear, very specific with a lot of stuff that you need to put in the bag. Outside of that, I can show my personal bag, but it's a little anemic right now still. Did we have any questions on anything? Yes?
Just curious, what is the shelf life on the tablets and the liquid?
Unfortunately, I don't have a direct answer for you because it really depends on the storage temperature. Of course, if you're out in Florida weather and heat in summertime and it's out in, let's say, Louisiana or Savannah even, because it's so hot in Savannah, these are going to go bad a lot quicker. And most of the time people will tell you about a year or so. But as in penicillin and things like that, we've had discussions about before, it's not always accurate. It may lose its, quote, effectiveness, but it's still going to keep working for a little while after that. It just may take a little longer to dissolve and handle it. Yes.
Yes, if you're storing water, let's say you have water stored now in those 5-gallon bladders, how safe is it, how long is it safe to drink that water for? And would you recommend using those drops kind of for maintenance, to put them in every 90 days or something, or would you just refresh the water source, or would you only fill those up in case of emergency? What would be your philosophy on water storage for long term?
For long term, if you're doing a bug-in long-term situation, actually it's recommended that you store up a lot of water. So most of that's going to sit for a fairly long time, but yeah, before you drink it, I would do some sort of purification just in case. A lot of water, even if you're storing it yourself, there will be some sort of bacteria that gets in, which unfortunately will live.
Put the drops in before you close it up?
Usually if I'm storing water for a long-term use, I do. I sterilize and cleanse it then, that way there's no possibility of algae or any sort of bacteria growing on the inside, which if you've ever filled up, if any of you have outdoor animals or had to do a rescue with animals where it's outdoors or anything, or even left a bucket outside any length of time, within about 2 weeks, you'll see this really nasty green or yellow slime on the inside. It'll do it on your containers if you don't purify your water before you put it in there. So, absolutely. Anybody else? Wow, we've got 3. We'll take you first.
Just where's your store and what are the hours?
Army Navy Outdoors is located at 127 Monument Road, directly across the street from the J.C. Penney side of the Regency Square Mall. We're open 7 days a week. Monday through Friday is 9 to 8, Saturday is 9 to 7, and Sunday is 11 to 6.
I've heard a lot of people say chlorine is supposed to be good for storing the water. And what's the deal with that?
Chlorine is another good chemical for it. The only thing is if you're, just like in a pool, if you go up to a pool after it's been treated, initially it's got that real high chlorine scent, but then it goes down. But if your pool guy, if you've ever had a pool or ever been in a public pool area, in about a week and the pool guy hasn't been there, you smell that real strong chlorine smell again. That's because the bacteria level's going back up, and that's what's causing that smell. So I mean, it's a really good indicator whether it's safe to drink, but you're still going to want to purify that out, because it's the same thing with city water. If you're drinking regular bottled water, the reason why you do that is because you don't want all the chlorine and other chemicals and crap they put in the water. So another thing is fluoride being in the water. You don't really need that. So yeah. And you had a question.
Well, actually, his question was exactly what mine was.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And I recognize you from the store.
I didn't do
Did we have any other questions? No? Well, then I guess I'm going to pass it over to Jose. There we go. And we all yours. Actually, who was the next speaker?
Alex.
Alex, can I move this real quick? Or did you have this? Jose wanted to set up his bag. Again, this is for a more future presentation, but he wanted to give you guys a real good sneak peek on what he's got up for you.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a disclaimer out there. I got off of active duty in 2007, and I finished my 2 years reserve duty about maybe 8 months ago. I spent 40.
Speak up.
Okay, my apologies. Here's a disclaimer. I spent 4 years as an active duty combat medic. I've been to 3 places in the world that I don't even want to remember anymore. I spent 2 years as the NCOIC for an aid station for a reserve unit. Now I'm just doing this as a hobby because I like helping people, and if you guys want to go further in depth, I make YouTube videos in detailed instruction on how to do certain medical procedures, to include IV, treatment under fire, low light tactical medicine, you know, how to work on somebody in the dark when you can't see what you're doing. This is my bag. This is the Black Hawk Stomp 2 Jumpable Aid Bag. This bag was designed to the specifications for SEAL Team Foreman and Special Operations Combat Medics. This bag has been with me since 2005. I've got exactly 19 jumps with this bag. If you can't see, come on up. You ain't gonna bother me. The way I set this bag up now is I have all my immediate wound packing and trauma management accessories here. I have 2 chem lights, because if I am in the dark and I'm not in a tactical environment, say I'm just out camping and now we have someone hurt in the middle of the night, I got to see what I'm doing. I got to know what I'm doing. So in this bag I have my chest dressings, my pressure dressings, my combat tourniquets. These are made by North American Rescue. These are actually issued to all ground troop personnel. If you put this on somebody in 9 seconds, you will stop them from bleeding to death. Now, it's a little painful to put on, but you got to trade. You got to trade a little bit of pain versus the statistic, which is 80% of all combat casualties are from major extremity blood loss. Remember, who took a first aid course from 2004 and before that? You remember when they said tourniquet last, it's the last resort?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, pardon my French, but yeah, forget about that crap. And here's why. Here's why. In all that time you spent securing their airway, they bled to death.
Yeah.
All the ET tubes, respirations, and all that crap you just did was exactly that, crap. It takes me 9 seconds to put this on your leg, maybe 5.5 to put this on your arm. You know how long it takes me to secure your airway? 1.5 minutes. In 3 minutes, you're alive. In 5 minutes, you have an IV, and I'm on my way to administering medications and doing ongoing assessments. In 10 minutes, I'm calling for medevac. You might make it home. Now, in a bug-out situation, you probably don't know what medical assets you have, so that's where casualty marking, communication of some kind, or just hopes and dreams. So I have IVs, I have extra Curlix, and all this extra Curlix bandages, these are a resupply of what I have here. I'm not going to sit here and waste everything on one patient because, quite frankly, I have other people that also need care. So there's going to be that time when you have, well, I hope and pray to God that you never have that. That when there's 5 people injured, now you have to make the gut-wrenching decision of who can I save and who can't I.
I have a question. Very simple.
But
Is that available to people that are non-professionals in the medical field?
the bag, you can buy just about everything up to the IVs and medications you can get.
You can get?
Yeah, you just can't get IVs or any medications because they're controlled substances. You need a medical device authorization that only a doctor or your chain of command can give.
Okay.
I have, I kind of bypass that because I have friends that are still in.
Yeah. Never heard
Talk about having YouTube videos. How would we search for that?
You can just look me up as Doc86 Military. Matter of fact, on Thursday, I just uploaded 2 videos. They're CASEVAC and CASEVAC Part 2. CASEVAC stands for Casualty Evacuation. That's when you use, instead of a ambulance or air medical vehicle, aircraft, pretty much you're getting them to help any way you can. Sir,
What was that website again?
YouTube,
Doc
Doc86, that is my page. Doc86 Military, no space, just one word. Yes, sir. And then as we get into the second panel, this is more my my ongoing care. We've got them out of the line of fire. This breaks into tactical field care instead of care under fire. I have equipment for, medication administration, extra IV stuff. I've got sutures, steri strips, my little boo-boo kit, Band-Aids, iodine, little stuff like that. Then I got an extra IV. I'm actually going to have more IVs come Tuesday because it's time for a resupply. I have, this is called a Special Forces Polis non-rigid litter. I was issued this. I'm not saying I'm a Special Forces medic, so don't get that. I have friends. This is my blood pressure cuff and stethoscope. In an ongoing situation, monitoring blood pressure is good for monitoring your patient's progress. Because if I got a guy who was shot in the femoral artery, right? I got a tourniquet on. I put quick clot in his wound. I packed it. He's all dressed up and fancy. I got him to the rear somehow, and I was able to stitch him up and control his bleeding. Now I need to monitor his blood pressure to make sure he's circulating everywhere. Proper perfusion, all that good stuff. Because if not, all that crap I just did, I got to cut off his leg. Now he's going to be bleeding again. What I got is this bag used to have this little red-handled, zip module with foam, and somebody acquired it. Somebody, anybody, I don't know. See, what happened was, it wasn't tied down, so it grew legs. How many people here have been in the military? So you all know that if you don't tie your stuff down or lock it up, somebody else is going to find it, right?
They need it better than you do.
No, I need my gear so I can work on everyone else. And this is actually a Pelican case that, by comedy, I bought at the Army-Navy store because I needed a way to carry my epinephrine and my extra meds and stuff that I carry. I'm not going to get too into that because I could sit here and discuss it all day, but I only carry the basics. I carry epinephrine, Benadryl, lidocaine for procedures. I carry benzocaine, Dermabond, and an asthma inhaler. Epinephrine can be used in a wide variety of ways. You've got severe bronchospasms, severe asthma attack. You can open them up using epinephrine. You have anaphylactic shock, classic epinephrine. You have first line cardiac emergency drug, epinephrine.
Is all that you just named, is that available to us weird people out?
No.
You can grow your own.
If you have an allergy,
Oh, okay.
Or federal.
if you have an allergy, you can get prescribed an EpiPen, but this is an actual epinephrine ampule. this is a controlled item. I got this because I was doing medical assistant school, and where I was doing my clinicals at, the doctor in charge of all 4 was a retired Navy doctor, and he's like, dude, you don't have anything. And I'm like, yeah, duh, I'm out. And he goes, well, let's fix that.
Great.
And then I bought this little beast bite and sting kit at Walmart. It was like $7. I don't use this for bite and stings because, quite frankly, the SOP for that changed. Because if you try to suck and get all that out, it's actually going to get into the tissue more and actually absorb faster. So if you tie them off, once you release the tourniquet, all that poison's in there, it's going to rush in there. So you don't do that. You just try to keep the patient calm, and in all honesty, try to get them to help. And if you can't, have them make peace. Got another little Pelican case here with my antibiotic ointments and ammonia inhalants. If anyone here has ever had ammonia inhalants, especially the ones that crush,
That'll wake you up.
these things crush in your bag. It ain't fun to clean. Got an embu bag here. You just expand it, put the mask on the person, and breathe for them. Now I'll go ahead and run through that real quick. I got the tubing so I can connect this to an oxygen tank, the rebreather mask so I can monitor output. And a mask. You can actually get these online, but if you get any of this stuff, I strongly recommend some training because, no, I'm sorry, because I'm trying to be proper here. You really don't want to hurt your patient. You get this stuff because you want to help somebody, but a whole bunch of attaboys are always just totally wiped out by one aw crap. And the only aw crap in medicine is when you kill your patient. I don't want that on my conscience, and I'm pretty sure nobody here does. Got a headlamp for those low light situations. This is a Petzl lamp. I got it from my dad because he took my old one. And I kind of like this one. As big as it is, I can go from AA's, which I have in it now, to flipping the plastic trays down and going to C. So I have variety in case I got to resupply and they don't have what I normally use. It's a little heavier, but I can live with it. And then on the sides here, you can't really see, I have 2 ladder splints and 2 SAM splints. And I use the ladder splints because they're rigid, and when you have a fracture that's just wobbly everywhere, you got, let's say my patient has multiple impacts to the lower left tibia from 762. He's got a shattered tibia. You can wrap that thing up and it'll still look like a slinky. So I take my 2 ladder splints, flatten them out. He's in pain. I'm probably going to give him something for it, and I'm going to tie his leg to that. It works. Now that limb's not moving, I can get my patient out of there. I got 2 seat collars for C-spine immobilization. Chances are in the field I can't get to do a whole lot of that because I don't have the litter and the equipment for that. All of this goes on my back besides my vest, my fighting load, my helmet, and my bang bang stick. Sir.
Do you know how much that weighs?
When it's
whole
totally
bag?
loaded, it weighs about 50 pounds on my back. And then you. This is my airway kit. If I cannot get you breathing with this, I shouldn't be opening this thing in the first place. This module came with the bag, but everything in it I kind of put together. I have ET tubes, a laryngoscope set. This is tubular gauze because you have to secure the ET tube. And what people are doing now is they're spending all this money buying all this really cool toys and gear crap. This is going to do the same thing. I've already got it pre-cut to fit around your head so I can tie the tube down. And it's in. It's not going anywhere. All I have to do is keep it from slipping out. And I got tape to do the same thing. I got a tubing syringe with some O2 tubing. And what this is for suction. Instead of all those huge suction devices that you see in ambulances and hospitals, smaller, works just the same way. I've got my nasal pharyngeal airways, occlusive dressings, oral pharyngeal airways, otherwise known as J-tubes. And then I have everything in here for surgical airway intubation, intervention. I have 14 gauge catheters for either chest decompression or crikes. I have a scalpel, iodine, and a tube so I can do a crike. Everyone, oh gosh, there we go.
I was asking him about that too.
Cricothorastomy is what in layman's terms tracheotomy, but here's your trachea. Right here, this is your cricoid membrane. This is where I'm punching into because I have complete control of your trachea. Dad, if you go too low, you risk hitting, you know, a bloodline somewhere. That's just not fun. Because then they're like, eh, you know, everywhere.
You know, you were saying about
All right. With that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap this up because I know there's someone else that wants to talk. Normally, when on my previous military experience, yes, I carry a lot, but each troop, he has to carry what's called an individual first aid kit. It has 2 pressure dressings, wound packing, quick clot. He's supposed to have 2 tourniquets just like the one I have. Normally I have 4, but my bag's been used. So, and the purpose of his kit is so that when I get to him, I work on him out of his stuff. And then if there's something I can't do, then I break out mine. Ma'am.
Is quick clot something you could buy or?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I recommend quick clot combat gauze because it has less thermic properties when it touches your tissue. The old quick clot powder, can't use it anymore. Well, we're not supposed to use it anymore. It'll save your life. But what you're supposed to do is you take that whole powder packet, pour it into the wound, take your dressing that you're packing into the wound, you maintain really hard pressure. Like you're practically kneeling down on that person's wound. If I could have one able-bodied person that doesn't mind me kneeling on them.
Exactly.
Will this stuff work with an arterial bleed?
That's what it's for.
Oh, okay.
Just lay down on the floor.
Face it?
Yeah, face it.
Army Navy Outdoors also does sell the quick clot. We do carry that on most of the times. It'll be over in our camping section as well. And also the first aid kit that we got listed behind you.
Pick a leg and I'm going to show you how to stop it. Alright, who wants to decide where he got shot?
Yeah.
Simulated blood.
Simulated blood? Go ahead, scream and writhe all you want. You alright, buddy? Where you hit? Where you hit? Right here? Right here? Alright, I need you to stop moving for me, okay? Alright, we clear? No more contact?
Watch the tenders.
See how I'm maintaining positive pressure on his femoral artery pressure point?
Oh.
I'm going to take this tourniquet.
AKA breaking my leg off.
I'm going to take this tourniquet and wrap it all the way down as far as I can get it. I want this windlass to be right here on the inside of his body.
Mommy!
Now here's where he's not going to like me anymore. Feel that?
I can't feel that with your knee on the... Oh, wow, there you go.
Is that the one you said hurt when you put it in?
I'm not going to tell him it doesn't hurt.
Anyone
because
time
I'll
that?
tighten
I'm
it
pretty
up.
sure that was less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That was great.
Now there's barely any
No
pulse.
pulse. Oh, wow.
I can't feel my leg.
Don't worry, you can still use it.
Right in the heart.